Hello and welcome to The Bleeping Mechanic. My name is Kyle, and today we got another project. '2004 Yamaha TTR 125L, so it's got the larger rear wheel and a larger front wheel. We've had this for a couple years now. It's been actually a really good bike. Very cold-blooded, takes forever to warm up. As soon as I turn that choke lever off, the bike just stops. So I have not gone through this bike at all, just basically put gas into it, and it's 21 years old. So I'm gonna tear that carb apart. I'm sure it needs a good cleaning. All right, we're gonna first by removing the intake hoses. All right, got a little twist off here and a little rubber plug there. Take off the side box. I know there's a few things also additional that we're gonna work on. Inside the air box here, you'll see that there's an air filter. I've recently cleaned it, but there is a piece of plastic and a foam that holds it all together, and the foam seals it to the air box. That foam has disintegrated. We're gonna have to take these clamps off on the intake boots. There's also a throttle cable up in the top, a couple vacuum lines, and then on the other side, we have the gas inlet and we have a gas overflow. So we'll start taking that stuff apart now. So I just want to get this stuff out because I know I am going to be working on it. So on that airbox piece, you'll see right here, this is just part of the maintenance. I did recently clean this. This just pulls out, and if you look on this side, yeah, I got a new one. So we're gonna go ahead and replace that. Keeping that uni filter though, good filter. Inside of the airbox looks clean, no problems. I'll wipe it down a little bit. It's got a mesh screen in there to prevent stuff from coming in, so let's keep tearing this thing apart. All right. Gas is shut off. Loosen this guy up really good. And another one here. Loosen that one up. So we're gonna go ahead and pop this off here. There we go. Now it's one off. Got a vacuum line here. We're gonna take this vacuum line off somehow. All right, pull that out of there. This is the overflow right here. Just pop that off. And as you can see, now they've got a little lower. This is the choke lever. And right there's the throttle. That unscrews, as well as this unscrews here. We're going to take this thing and give this thing a bath in the ultrasonic. All right, so let's go ahead and get that off. Just work this. This is just a breather. Work that up. All right. And there is the needle. Additional ports. Another line right here I'm going to pull off. Pull that down all the way. Just work it. Boop. Okay. Let me go get a wrench for that. That's snug. Could just grab like an adjustable, but I actually like using the proper tools. Who am I kidding? I never use the proper tools. Whatever works. All right, that's loosened. I can do the rest by hand now. If it stops spinning on me. Got the carburetor up here on the toolbox. I'm gonna take off anything that's like rubber. I'm just trying to loosen the 20 years of bond from it just not wanting to come apart. Like that. Keep that over here. All right, so let me get a couple rags. Nice clean white surface. Boom. I'm sure there's gonna be some gas in here. I've had the gas off for a little bit. I usually shut it off. So the first thing we're gonna do is gonna take this bowl off. 4 screws hold that together. So it's a Minkuni carb. Little parts bowl. Love these little things from Harbor Freight whenever they go on sale for free with purchase. Go and grab as many as I can. I think I've got probably about 4 of them, varying sizes. Give it a little pressure. Yeah. So inside there you can see some green varnish. Float height looks like it's a little past. Might have to bend that up. This part of the float should be about parallel with the bowl itself, the top of the carb, or I should say the bottom. So we might have to look that up and adjust it. So inside here we've got fuel air mixture screw. That's on the side going towards the motor. That controls how much air and fuel. Most carburetors seem to be about adjusted about 1.5 turns out. We've got the float, which will push out the float pin. Now the float and the needle, already leave, okay. Oh, that little piece of plastic came off. So here's the float. And there's the needle. A little bit of tarnish on that as well. So that little needle will plug this hole right here. And there's a needle seat in there. It's hard to tell, but inside there, if that's not clean, what will happen is that needle, when the gas fills up in the carb in the bowl here, the bowl will fill up, the float will start coming up, and it will push that into the seat, and it stops the gas flow. That's directly connected to the gas spigot, which goes to the petcock on the gas tank. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to remove these parts. So this way the ultrasonic cleaner can get into everything. Plus we want everything off. So in there, needle. Should also be a spring. Should be. Okay, there goes in. Okay, that's weird. Should be a spring in there. Then you've got jets here. You got two components. That has a bunch of perforations in it. And then that has to come apart. So we'll hold on to that. And all these will get new gaskets and seals. That was tight. And all this has got a nice layer of varnish. Whoops. And then there's a jet. That has a very small hole in the bottom that passes through. That allows gas to get sucked through that goes up. And when the bike gives more gas, remember if that needle, the needle pulls up, more gas gets flung up in through here and then shot into the engine. More gas, more go-go. All right, a couple of jets here that I'm going to pop out as well. Tiny little screwdriver. Tiny little jets. Yeah, tiny, teeny tiny. So this is the upper one. I think this one said like 145 on it, I think. Right there, geez, I can't see. 145. So the 145 goes on top, 80 goes in the bottom. All right, so we also have adjustment screw here. Make sure nothing goes flying out. That should also have a spring, yep. Come on, get out. Oh, get out. There we go, a little tiny spring. Everything in here is tiny. I've lost so many parts, little tiny spring. And sometimes there's also a little O-ring or something in there. I can kind of see what looks like to be might spray with some brake cleaner in there. It might be a flat washer. And this is the last component right here. And a lot of times you can just buy like a $30 carb off of Amazon for this bike. 30 bucks. Pop it in and it may or may not work. But like carbs like these, like the original Minkunis, are so much more precision and you can get parts for them. Started twisting it a little bit. And exactly why you don't do that. spring. That's a little diaphragm right there. Vacuum causes some pumping action. Again, all new, we'll replace all this stuff. Just gonna pull it up to show you what's behind there. Actually, it's still pretty flexible. Not torn. And that just pushes in on there, fuel passes through there. Looks like they had some black or a blue Loctite on there. Keep it out. Overall, not too filthy. I've seen worse. So what I'm gonna do real quick is take a break, and then I'm gonna show you what I do with the cleaner. Okay, all right, so what I like to do with the carbs, now I don't have a very large ultrasonic. I'm probably gonna end up getting a bigger one because I seem to do a lot of carb jobs. And I like the way it cleans. So there's a whole bunch of videos about what to use. I like the way these carbs look in terms of they're still kind of aluminum looking-ish. And I've used some cleaners that have tainted it and it makes it more darker looking, and I want to try to avoid that. And what I've noticed is I've done some research and found that what some people have used that doesn't seem to do it, and I've used it, is use like Dawn Professional dish soap. And so what I've done is I've gone up and basically Sam's Club makes their own little version. So what I will do, I think is different than some people, instead of just taking the carb and dunking it right into that, filling that up with soapy water, I do something a little different. I get a baggie, I dilute with detergent, hot water, and I put the carb in the bag, in the water. And the bag gets full of dirty, skunky water, and I can just keep grabbing the other parts, pop them in other bags with some detergent, pop in there. And I'm really never really destroying this thing at all. This thing is always gonna be clean, filled with clean water and just working. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. And then from here, we'll take it. We're gonna set this to temperature 40. And then timer, we'll do 10 minutes. So it's already got water in there. Because one nice thing is that even with it not under the water, it's under the water in the bag. It's ultrasonic vibrating inside of the bag still. And I did notice that this thing isn't fully I wanted to adjust it a little bit more. There we go. Well, now I'm gonna add a little bit more water to the ultrasonic, just to give it a little higher. There we go. Took it out of the ultrasonic. Definitely had some dirt and grime in it. So we're gonna go ahead and start assembling this. I went ahead and used air and blew out all the ports, make sure everything's nice and clean. Let's go ahead and start putting this thing slowly back together. Float and needle. Like I said, we ran all these inside. They're ultrasonic in separate bags. It goes into this. The needle goes into that little hole right there. So when it hits bottom, it shuts the gas off so it doesn't flow through anymore. The float should be basically level. So it actually needs to come up a little bit, like right about there. It should be like about that. So the way you adjust that is actually super scientific. So if you see right here, I'll bring the light a little closer. The needle sits on this little piece of metal right here. You bend it. So in this case, we're going to bend it down. I think that already looks a lot better. Looks like it might be tilted up a little bit, so we'll just push down on it a little bit. Get it to bend a little more. And there is a measurement to that you're supposed to measure, but level here to the level of the float is typically what we try to do. I like that though. That looks good. Better than what it was. That screw that went jumping away from us, which pushes on top of that. It just sits in here. Get that diaphragm to sit in there correctly. All right. So we're going to go ahead. There we go. Fits much better together. Hold that down. There was one screw that was countersink. We had one screw that was a standard pan head. And it's kind of hard to screw up which one goes where because one is a countersink hole. Give those a nice good snug, don't want to strip them out. Okay, getting there, boys. Looks good, looks good, looks good, looks good. We got this screw in here on the side with the spring. That is this boy here. And it did have a washer on it. So we'll go ahead and drop that guy in there. And this is the idle screw. So what this does, this is actually drop that needle and it actually stops that whole plunger assembly from dropping down further and holds it up a little bit more. All right, so now we have two jets here and here. The upper jet was the 145, which we will try to read with my horrible eyes. This one says 145, so that goes in this upper portion. These go until snug. There you go. So that one's in. And then the lower one, which in this case is actually, there you go, sits this way. So lower one is a 80. These are factory jets, nothing fancy. You know, nice and snug. There we go. Float looks still good. So now we'll go ahead and mount. Oh yeah, this has this little, I think that's supposed to actually not just sit on there. I think at one point in time might have been connected to that. Not exactly sure what that's for. Got a new gasket on here. Put this on the right way. Four more screws and we're all done. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we will work on a crisscross pattern. Get each one down first. Don't want to strip nothing out. And like I said, we could have bought just a Chinesium Amazon special for 30 bucks, which I have done plenty in the past. And they work. Great? No. But they do work. Could have worked just fine. But I've had more misses than hits. There you go. Good to go. Everything looks good. Really do like the ultrasonic cleaners. I think they work great. So let's go ahead and go back to the unit. What do you think the chances are it runs? I have no idea. Let's find out. All right, fuel on, choke on. Get some fuel into the carb. Didn't forget nothing. Nothing's dripping. That's a good sign. Chain looks like it's a little loose. We'll adjust that later. All right. That's a good sign. But we got here last time with the choke on. The bike is very, 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 very cold-blooded. Let it warm up for a bit. Might need to adjust some of those screws. So we might need to adjust that air-fuel mixture still, as well as the idle screw. But I'm gonna let it warm up a minute because it does take a while. And these bikes are notorious. If you've ever worked on one of these TTR 125 before, rode one, you'll know that. Like I said, nothing leaking. Everything seems good. Sorry about the noise. Sounds decent. Just this idle up a little bit. Half a turn. Quarter of a turn. All right, just backed out the air-fuel mixture screw a little bit. That's that one that's in the front on the bottom of the carb. Give it another half a turn. I also backed out the idle. Idle was too high after I did that. Sounds a lot better. Oh boy, am I hot though. It's sweltering out here. I do like that. It sounds, I mean, the choke is off. Now the gas in here I know is also going on about a good solid year old, so I think that's going to have to be changed out, drain the rest of that out. But I mean, this is already 1,000 times better than what it was. So that's that. New carb, well, I should say new clean carb. Sounds good. New spark plug, new air filter. Sounds great. All right, let's take it for a quick little spin. I know, wearing Crocs, shorts, good way to get burned. She's warmed up now. Might crank the idle up a little bit. Idle's a little low. I did adjust it back down, so no, I'm happy. Project complete. Now I can get them back out there. We missed out on our riding trip, bringing it up there. But we had a spare nephew's bike that he was able to use. Maybe I'll leave the idle where it's at. It seems to level out. Well, guys, I appreciate it. Thanks, and we'll see you on the next one.